Good morning and welcome to PwC's Boardroom Forum live series. I am Julie Matthias and I'm joined by PwC South Africa's Legal Business Solutions leader, Sibongile Solumbela. Today, Sibongile and I will be unpacking legal transformation as part of PwC's Tax and Legal Business Transformation series. So Sibongile, we know that when embarking on a business transformation journey, it entails a series of making fundamental changes to a business to realize that business's full potential. Through our experience in professional services, we understand that business transformation is often approached as either a means to address specific concerns or achieve strategic objectives or to accelerate a digital transformation project. So getting right into our conversation, when we consider business transformation, why do you believe legal transformation should be incorporated into a broader business transformation project?
Thanks, Judy. So often when we see companies undertake large-scale, enterprise-wide business transformations, the legal function is often forgotten and tends to be an afterthought. So you'll see the relevant company essentially redesign its processes, relook at its people design, entire operating models, redefine its customer focus, and even look at the way that it utilizes technology and data in its business, forgetting that the legal function is typically aligned to that as-is state, pre the transformation. So the systems and the processes and the technology utilized in the legal function, even its resourcing model, would have been aligned to the original state of the business. So what then ends up happening is you end up getting this disconnect between the legal function and this future state organization that the company is trying to create. So in our view, when looking at corporate function transformation, so when you're looking to transform your HR function, your supply chain function, or you're looking at a workforce transformation, you should also consider focusing on your legal function transformation. Essentially because the legal function is one of the few functions that intersects with every other corporate function in a business. And if you end up with a disconnect between your legal function and the rest of your corporate functions, you end up with a legal function that's unable to essentially support this future state organization you're trying to create through your business transformation.
Right. So, yes, and I think those touch points are often overlooked in considering legal as part of the broader business. So in thinking of the business of law, what are the changes that businesses can make in successfully transforming their legal functions?
So I guess the best thing would be for me to just preface my answer with a general statement that where you focus in the course of trying to implement a legal function transformation will always be determined by the evolution of your legal function, or essentially its maturity. But if I were to take try to give a kind of a catch-all approach, it really starts with the fundamentals. So at the strategic level, you would want to align your legal function with your culture and the values, as well as the strategic orientation of your business. At the next level, you'd want to look at your resourcing models. So that is your people, it's your talent, as well as the manner in which you leverage third parties in executing your functions and supporting your business activities. And then lastly would be a technology enablement layer. And here with this technology enablement layer, you're really trying to use technology to help your legal function operate more effectively and more efficiently. And here you could look at, a company could look at legal solutions such as contract automation or contract lifecycle management tools or workflow management solutions as well. So those are essentially the three layers that you would look at if you were implementing a legal function transformation.
Great. So can you elaborate on some of the benefits of employing those tools and just to achieve a successful legal transformation?
So there are a number of benefits that an organization would at least be able to derive from a successful legal transformation. I think one that is not often spoken about is the talent retention aspect of legal function transformation. So, for example, if you're able to implement a good piece of legal technology or some kind of workflow management solution, which allows your legal function to operate more effectively, more efficiently, which pulls your people out of doing the more rote and mundane work, this will allow them to focus on the more challenging and more stimulating aspects of their jobs. And as a consequence of which, you're likely to have better talent retention. And there are also the much lauded benefits around cost savings and cost benefits. So if you've got the right resourcing model, so you have the right people doing the right things in the business, essentially it could lead to less spend on some of the external legal services providers. And then lastly, having the right elements of technology solutions in place can also lead to significant cost savings, particularly in the context of contract lifecycle management. So if you're talking about spend management or legal obligation management, there are those cost savings that you could essentially derive from being able to manage your milestones under your contracting better. But that's essentially the benefits at a high level.
Great. So similar to my previous question, and I think you've touched on this in all your previous answers, what would you say are the accelerators of legal transformation?
So in our view, the greatest accelerator for legal transformation has always been getting your outsourcing mix right. So you often find that traditionally in a lot of corporates, the type of activities that get outsourced are essentially your mergers and acquisitions, your dispute resolution, or maybe your employment law type of matters. And one would expect that because, the specialized skills are not typically the skills that one employs within a corporate legal function. But what ends up happening is that in addition to just outsourcing the execution of the work, the strategic elements of that work also get outsourced to external legal counsel. And this is where the overspending on external advice starts to come in, because your external counsel sit outside your business. They're trying to assist you in navigating the strategic elements of an M&A transaction, but they're not the experts in your business. So that disconnect typically lends itself to a lot of value leakage and excessive spend. At the same time, your internal team is not able to focus on these more kind of higher priority, higher value strategic elements of their work. So they now get bogged down in the more rote and routine and the mundane work. So if you're able to actually flex that resourcing model correctly, what you could essentially do is start bringing a lot more of that strategic work back into the organization. And instead of outsourcing those traditional elements that I referred to, you start to outsource the more routine work so that your internal team can be adequately leveraged to support your business better. So it's more of a global trend and is yet to get to South Africa. But what we're noticing, particularly in the UK as well as in Europe, is that the contracting function, so essentially your procurement contracting, or in a financial services environment, your swaps and your derivatives agreements, kind of that high volume type of contracting, tends to be the kind of work that is now being outsourced, and often on a managed services basis, to external third-party providers of legal services. And that high-end specialized corporate transactional work is largely being undertaken by leaner, specialized, high-functioning, effective teams internally, and you only lean on your third-party legal services providers for essentially the execution elements of the work. Alternatively, where the work is so highly specialized that you need niche third-party service providers. So that's one big accelerator. That's outsourcing, and we've seen it work time and time again. So another significant accelerator is maximizing your investment in your technology. So we've seen that the right investments in certain types of technology solutions, such as contract lifecycle management, contract automation, or workflow management, tends to optimize the effectiveness of the legal function. And they're able to execute much quicker and are more agile in delivering on their mandate internally to the organization. So that's also a significant accelerator. And I think lastly is another accelerator is essentially getting your resourcing and your people mix right. Within a corporate legal function, what you really need is not a full team of lawyers that are able to essentially execute on the black letter elements of the law. You want individuals that have got good commercial nous who also understand the industry in which they operate in. And this is not to say that you can't train, these black letter type lawyers into being those more well-rounded corporate individuals. But what's important is that you have the right mix of those people within your team to better service the organization. And getting your people mix right, again, it's just a quantum leap in the ability of your legal function to adequately service the needs of your organization.
Great. So based on what you're sharing with us, Sibongile, it's clear that there is a delicate balance of talent, process, and technology that must be achieved to ensure that successful legal transformation journey. How would you say, or what would you say is the best approach in achieving that?
Well, I think it's important that one doesn't take a piecemeal approach and believe that in order to transform my legal function, I need to digitize my contracts and get a contract management solution in place. By the same token, it can't just be a operating model and resourcing mix question. In our experience, the best approach is always a holistic approach, and we're able to draw a very, very straight line between a holistic approach to legal business transformation and the success and the outcomes of that legal business transformation.
Great. So thank you, Sibongile, for sharing your insights and thoughts with us on this exciting topic. In closing, we've learned that legal transformation should form part of an integrated business transformation journey to ensure that the corporate legal function remains relevant and is sustainable in an evolving corporate landscape. Thanks everyone for joining us.